Hi, my name is Przemyslaw Wisniewski. I'm a first-year game design student at Sheffield Hallam University. At this screencast, I'm going to talk a little bit about differences of tension as well as about actions helping player to advance the game's plot. Dramatic tension appears when person reading some book or watching films feel desire to know what will happen next with the character due to the feeling that something important is at stake and that we want to know this at all costs. Dramatic tension may be used as the resource of keeping viewers to particular series, books, TV shows or video games, just like for example the Walking Dead game, which is created in the form of short episodes similar to TV shows itself, and the gameplay works like interactive movie just like in Heavy Rain or Fahrenheit. In the case of The Walking Dead, episodes end surprisingly, just like in real TV shows, and contain short insight of events from the next episode, just before final credits. On the other hand is gameplay tension, which comes from similar reasons like dramatic tension, which means desire to know what will happen next, but the difference that gameplay tension appears by the desire player to overcome challenges, which game put before him, and by the uncertainty whether he'll win or lose. The Last Planet or Clive Barker's Undying might be an example of a game where from time to time the player faces some powerful foes that needs to be defeated to move the plot forward. Usually these fights are exhaustive and demand from the player knowledge of game mechanics. However, gameplay tension not need to be felt, as it's in case of dramatic tension, which is conditioned by the actions happen to the character and history affecting him. Games which works perfect fine without the plot and dramatic tension are, for example, chess, darts, Monopoly, and practically every other board game where plot isn't simply necessary for feeling fun. The important factor telling us whether or not we are facing dramatic tension is randomness and repetition. If these two exist in the product, then the customer is not able to equate with the character or to place himself in the world, because dramatic tension is destroyed by this and we simply cannot feel the tension coming out of desire to know what is happening next. However, randomness and repetition is usually placed in video games and even isn't demanded in some cases. There is many games which contain some elements of random chance, just like in RPG games where practically any player action is conditioned by virtual dice roll. The same thing is with repetition in games. Players usually perform the same action hundreds or even thousands of times during the game to reach the goal. In other media this is unthinkable. Next important factor conditioning good and addictive play is advancing the game's plot, which should be seen in proper places and stages during the gameplay, so the player do not need to come back to previous locations unnecessary or to find solutions how to move the plot forward, which might be boring and is consequent disinclined play for further game. There is couple types helping player to progress a game's story. We can distinguish three very often seen treatments moving plot forward. The first one is to move plot forward by finishing some quests or by performing some important choices. The examples of games that shows clearly this type of advancing the plot are strategy games like StarCraft, Warcraft 3, some RPG games like Diablo, and racing games like Need for Speed Underground. In strategy games usually we are able to move story forward by winning scenarios, maps, however there are exceptions where we can move story forward regardless we win or lose. Racing games works on similar principles because we usually need to win the race on specific podium place. In RPG games we must finish some quest, which we can't perform in the time that suits our gameplay. On in time we can do whatever we want, like doing side quests to wind players level up. The second solution might be game progress by journey, which most often can be seen in adventure games, however in some RPG too. Adventure games practically relies on journey, and the only way that allows us to know the plot is to move from place to place. The very good example of this solution is Dreamfall, The Longest Journey, or Siberia. The last important solution is to treat the game's plot as a drama, that means everything moves forward despite player actions. So for example, if we won't do anything, then there might happen something important which can turn whole plot upside down just because we did nothing to stop this. As an example of such game might be a MMORPG game Guild Wars 2 where exist events independently of player actions to which we can jump in on the time or simply leave it as it is. Not participating in the event or leaving something without security may lead to unpleasant consequences like taking the base or wider area by the enemies, with the ability to finish a quest or blocking some important elements of the ground. The second good example might be mentioned before heavy rain, where doing nothing may even lead to character's death. But even if that happened, the plot will move forward, adapting itself to new situation. As we can notice, dramatic tension and gameplay tension has many similarities, however usually exists in different types of media, which means that different elements are desired to make it work perfectly. On the other hand, to keep players to the game is needed a good story and most importantly talented leadership in proper genre and good balance between gameplay itself and history told.